Welcome everybody, CSFL fans everywhere. It is season 7. I got the Wolverines and the Demons with me. We got the standings up here. Thanks guys for being here. Super excited about this season in general, but this is the last week coming up, week 13. And here's the standings. Top 4 have been clinched, bottom 3 have been set. So it looks like we got 7 teams right now fighting for 4 spots. And is it ever tight? 6-6 for all 7 of them. Demons, what's your first thoughts of these first 7 6-6 teams? Are these 7 6-6 teams going into week 13 here?
I think we work from the top down here. You couldn't have scripted this better. Demons versus Vipers for the first overall seed. Winner gets home field advantage in the playoffs. Live from the Hell House. That's gonna be a great game. I hope it's game of the week. I hope it's prime time, but we'll see where it goes. That one's pretty straightforward to me. I mean, it's the matchup that I've been waiting for a while now.
Yeah, number one offense for the Demons. So that'll be interesting. Especially, I think the Vipers are like number one on defense, or they're close to it.
They are
Yeah.
the number one. Yep.
And the Vipers have been the class of the league for the last 3 seasons.
Right, with that, because of that defense.
Absolutely. So yeah, obviously the top 2 teams are playing for the number 1 spot, which is awesome to see. The bottom or the 3rd and 4th are playing separate teams, and whoever wins or loses there may get the 3rd or 4th seed. But the 7 6-6 teams, we got the Bears, Blue Jays, Cobras, Piranhas, and who else do we got there?
Werewolves,
6-6, and Dragons Scorpions are still in it at 5-7, but they have a lot would have to happen for the Scorpions to get it. Number one, the Dragons would have to lose.
Right.
Who's got the tiebreaker between the Wildcats and the Rhinos for 3rd place? If they both finish 9-4,
I think the Rhinos do.
I believe the Wildcats beat the Rhinos in the head-to-head though. But we'll see how that plays out. Just because look, they're both in 2nd place, so they're not officially in order yet. So they may flip.
Oh boy.
If they have the same record, because they'll go to head-to-head first.
Oh, they're not in order?
No, they're not. They're just tied for 3rd. So we got how many teams tied for 3rd? 5?
5 teams tied for 3rd. Yeah, and they're not in any particular. They're in alphabetical order. They're definitely They're not in the order that they'd actually finish in.
That's right. Keep that in mind, right? So they're tied for 2nd, tied for.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
this is even more of a mess.
Yeah,
this has happened to me before because I always think I'm in because one of my earlier seasons, my team starts with D. I always thought I was going to be in the playoffs, and then it didn't work out that way.
So literally, you could have everybody, all the 5 of these teams at 6-6 finish at 7-6. Somebody's going to be out.
Yeah,
but we don't know who.
Yeah. I think it would be the Cobras because it goes back to. I think it goes back to their head-to-head record against the teams that are tied.
Right.
So the Cobras would be 1-4 in that situation. All the other teams would be ahead of them.
That's why it's so confusing.
That's so cool. That's so cool. No, I'm glad that it's a lot of teams are still in it with only 1 week left. And that's not always the case. So there's a lot of these great teams. Let's look at one of these matchups. Obviously,
I want to look at Rhinos. I want to look at the Rhinos Wildcats first. Because so you're basically saying Wildcats control their destiny to finish 3rd, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So if the Rhinos have to win and the Wildcats have to lose. If the Wildcats win, it doesn't matter if the Rhinos win; they'll still get 4th at best, right?
Yeah, and the Rhinos could potentially play the Bears back to back.
Yes, they could.
That's also a big storyline there.
Yeah, that's very exciting for sure. That would be very exciting. I think one of the big games this week, obviously, the Vipers and the Demons are the big game, the highlight game, but I think there's a quiet game here between the Cobras and the Scorpions. The Cobras really have a big chance here to get 3 games in a row. The Cobras taking down the Demons and the Wildcats. The Cobras got their new coach, Brandon Allen. These two have been coming up with great game plans, and no one's really given the Cobras the kind of highlight or the notice or the respect on their name. And I'm gonna come out here and give it to them. The Cobras somehow got the quarterback situation figured out with Ralph Dorsey. He has really turned a new leaf. He threw 5 touchdowns. He hadn't had 4 touchdowns all season, only thrown 3 was his most, and now throws 5 touchdowns and wins. Cobras are looking really strong, but this Scorpions team is not going down without a fight. They're a
No.
phenomenal team, and they lost last week, so I expect them to bounce back. That's going to be a really exciting game. Who's going to win, the Scorpions offense or the Cobras defense? Because I'm telling you, if these Cobras can get going on offense, people are in trouble for sure. Because they got the defense. Let's look at another matchup that's really cool is the Piranhas and the Gators. Gators are out, but they're rivals, and Gators get to play spoil. Do they get to spoil the chances of their rival Piranhas who they play every preseason game? They have a chance to beat them here and knock the Piranhas out of the playoffs. And as a rival, nothing gets sweeter than that, right?
Well,
Um,
one thing with the Piranhas are going to have to look out for is if they're going to go with the rookie quarterback again, is Lightning going to strike twice? Is he going to be able to do what he did last week? And you know,
was
that's
Andre Gaines' success strike a lightning, or do you think that's talent that came off the bench, or do you think that was just something we'll never see again?
don't know.
I think
I think
he's.
I think we need to talk about that with Ralph Dorsey and the Cobras.
Yeah, the Piranhas have started 3 different quarterbacks in 3 different weeks, and they've won 2 out of the
3.
3. So excited to see what the Piranhas do coming up here for with the season on the line against these tough-nosed Gators. But let's also talk about the 6-6 Bears. They're probably got the toughest week here.
Yes.
They're going against the Rhinos. They're one of the toughest out of the 6-6. I mean, like
I think the
teams.
Werewolves against the
You
Wildcats
know
too.
what? You know what? I'm going to take
Oh
a
yeah,
shot here.
werewolves and wildcats. Go ahead.
I'm going to take a shot here at the Rhinos. Okay. Reason being, this team is living off turnovers.
Oh
They
yeah.
are by 12. Yeah, there's how you look at their offense, you look at their defense, there's nothing there that jumps out. They're
Mm.
really not. They're 13th in total offense. They're 9th in rushing offense, 10th in passing, and the defense is at the bottom half too.
I
So,
know.
so
Yeah. No,
it
you
can't
absolutely
continue.
right. You're absolutely right. It may not continue if they don't stick to the same game plan. I can't say too much, but I know exactly what they're doing, and it's been working really good to play more of a conservative defense instead of being so aggressive and allowing the other teams to make the mistakes. It's been a great strategy they've been doing. Their offense has been playing good when they need them to, but when you're holding teams to, I believe it was 17 points for a majority of the season there in the first half of the season, they're
Mm-hmm.
holding teams to 17 points. And you know, and I know, and a lot of teams know that the AI, when they go up 1 or 2 possessions, they start to just kind of take the clock down and play a lot more conservative. And I feel like that's been a lot of the Rhinos games. Um, they've had a couple thrillers recently, um, but when they were winning, it wasn't by a big margin. They weren't even scoring over 30 points. They weren't. They're averaging 27 points now. But their defense is really, really good. Xavier Dawson, Dante Terry, the free safety, is playing amazing. They got Jesse Johnson that they got in the first round, that outside linebacker. He's playing great for them. Alex Campbell, the list goes on. Their defense is full of stout players. And now they got Alan Dwight and they got Randy Dorsey coming to life. Alan Dwight had probably a career game a couple games ago, and won them the game. Yeah, it's really on Alonzo Atkins. Can Alonzo Atkins carry the Rhinos into this, because their running game has really suffered with Mark Marshall's degression and
Yeah.
them trying to lean on the rookie Tate. But another team, we didn't really talk about these Bears. The Bears are phenomenal too. They got a really underrated defense. Even though you ask him and and you talk to him, he says they're the best defense. They do got the number one rushing defense. They've held multiple running backs under 50 yards, and the Rhinos, they're a big pass heavy team and haven't been really running the ball either. But Mike Davis, Benjamin Harris, these two are really good, and they were actually came from the same draft class. Not a lot of people know that. So he was able to get two first rounders basically out of that pick, that draft. And their receivers are really starting to come to life for the Bears, and that was really their weakness, in my opinion.
Yeah, they started 0-4. So I mean, the fact that they come back to what they've come to, I
And
mean,
yeah,
Well, I
look at
think
there.
points against is the big gauge of defense.
Yeah,
Like
look
the
at that.
yards don't tell the story, and we know
Yeah.
that. We know that from years now, is that the yards don't tell the story in defense. Points against us. Vipers are the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
It shows points against 255. There's the
Wow.
Bears. We know they have a good defense. Rhinos have been winning games by defense. Demons and Werewolves have good defense.
It's true. So this
You
is
start-
going to be a low scoring game if you can ever see one. Look at this. Both these teams are second and third for lowest points allowed. So 280 and 293. And what's the most? Most points?
It's probably
The
the
most points.
Scorpions.
I just want to know
Yeah.
the actual number. Yeah, like 400 or something.
Yeah.
So that's
Forgot.
pretty low, 280 and 293. So I'm expecting a very low scoring game, and one
It's
of
a
the
10-point game
turnovers.
difference between top and bottom.
Actually, it's gorillas that are the lowest.
I really think that this is going to be a super low scoring game, and there's going to be a big turnover that's going to make the difference. And hey, the Rhinos right now are first for turnovers. Kind of says itself what's going to happen. But we'll see what the Bears do, and we'll see how the Rhinos perform.
They remind me of the Minnesota Vikings this year.
The Rhinos do.
The
Yeah.
Rhinos? Yeah.
Oh, they pulled out so many games, and then they got to the playoffs and they got waxed.
Saying Atkins is Kirk Cousins. It's
Well,
not. I don't want to get in trouble with the Rhinos owners.
hey, I'll talk shit about the Rhinos. You listen here, you. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm picking against them first week in the playoffs.
Well, that's your choice. That's your choice. You're just salty because he beats you. I know. It's all good. But hey,
Everybody beat me.
Was that
so-
a fumble? Was that a fumble at the end of that game?
that was a bad decision to run the ball at the end of that game. That's for sure. They should just kick the field goal. But anyways, these 6-6 teams is what I want to make the focus on. What other team we didn't talk about? We didn't talk about
Well,
the
the only ones here, the only one here that doesn't control their destiny is the Cobras. The Cobras need help.
Okay,
Bears
so they got
win,
to
they're
have
in.
somebody
Blue Jays
lose.
win, they're in.
But you're saying the Cobras got to have somebody lose.
Yeah, exactly. The
One
rest of
team.
them-
But they play the Scorpions. So if they lose that game, Scorpions still have a chance.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the Scorpions might be out already. They're 1-4 against. They're 1-4 against this list of teams.
Oh,
So Bears, Blue Jays, Werewolves, and Dragons would, or sorry, Bears, Blue Jays, Werewolves, and Piranhas would. I think the Scorpions are out.
so the only
can't
team
get
they
ahead
could
of-
beat.
even with 6 wins, Bears, Piranhas, Blue Jays, and Werewolves would all make it ahead of them.
They lost all of them?
Right.
They've lost enough that they
Wow.
get to 6 wins. Well, actually, well, no, because now you get into the other permutation, right? What happens if one of the if one of these guys is 7? No, it doesn't matter. They can't. Yeah, they can't get ahead of those teams.
The
So
only
they're
team
out.
they can get ahead of is
They're
the
out.
Cobras.
The
And
Blue
they're playing
Jays
them.
are gonna get their 7 wins because they're gonna be playing the Wolverines. So they're gonna
Oh.
get their 7 wins. So
I don't know. I don't know about that.
no.
I ain't screwing up that number 1 pick now.
No.
No. We ain't tanking. We're playing.
Five teams tied for third place. and that's pretty exciting. In
Third,
a
fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Yeah. Well, actually, they're played tied for fifth. Technically, it's fifth.
yeah,
So
they're all
the
tied
other
at
one
third.
here is the Dragons. They are right now 3-3 against all these against the teams that are 6-6 and 5-7.
Right.
So like they I don't know how that plays in. Like, I don't know how if they all finish with 6 wins, the Dragons would be tied with the Piranhas. So I think it would then go to their head to head between the two of them. And I don't know who won their game offhand.
Dragons and Piranhas.
Yeah.
I
Because
think the
this
Piranhas.
is wild to me, like how many different tiebreaker scenarios we're coming across.
Yeah, which keeps it exciting. So
I think the
that's
Piranhas beat them.
awesome.
I think the Piranhas beat the Dragons.
So the Dragons are probably out too then, even though they're both 5. Even though they still have a shot by wins, they don't. They will lose. They're both going to lose the tiebreakers against the.
Right.
Oh damn. Well, I think it's going to be 7-6 anyway. I don't think 6 and 7 is going to make the playoffs. I think you're going to see most of these teams win. I really do.
I'm gonna say 1 6 and 7 team makes it. That's my prediction. Just one. Just
I'm
one.
saying at least 2.
You say 2?
Well,
At least 2.
For one to make it, you got to have 2 of these teams. 2 of the 6 and 6s lose.
So it's eight teams make it, right?
Werewolves and Wildcats. I can see the Werewolves losing that.
So there's only 4 spots left.
I mean, the Bears could lose to the Rhinos. They could lose to the Rhinos.
Scorpions could beat the Cobras. I mean, we already went over there. If the Cobras lose, they're out though, so that doesn't really matter. But Scorpions can. I think the Scorpions could beat anyone on any given week.
Yeah.
I just think they could also lose to anyone on any given week. They're pretty like coin flip. They're boom or bust.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right. Any last points that you guys want to make? And we'll end this video. Keep it nice and sweet. Short and sweet. Any last points that you want to make about these teams? Any last scenarios? We pretty much
game
went
of the
over
week.
everything.
The game of the week we're doing. It's gonna be Demons Vipers or what?
I think it has to be.
Yeah.
This was NFL. That would get flexed to Sunday night.
There's 3 games that we're going to be doing on Friday, and this definitely can be the commentary game. The battle for first place. Super excited about that one. And
my last word though, Johnny. You want a last word for me? I think it's something that Wolverines said in the chat. I believe that these top 4 teams are going to get home playoff wins in the first round.
All home teams win?
In the first round. Yeah, I believe this is your second round. Demons, Vipers, Rhinos, Wildcats. That's your second round in the playoffs.
I'm gonna say one team loses. At least one upset. There's always one. At least. Not always. There's not always, but
yeah.
It feels
different this season.
Yeah,
it feels to me like there's a disconnect between the 8-win teams and the 6-win teams.
Hey, why don't we keep the Wildcats Werewolves game open or the Rhinos Bears game open? Maybe try to do 2 on Thursday.
Yeah. Any last thoughts about the video though?
Well, that was a thought.
No, I mean to David. I mean to David. Right?
Well, want to pick these games real quick?
Yeah, but I'll just end the video and then we'll pick the games. Yeah,
we have a minute. Oh, you want to do a different video? Okay.
Yeah, no,
well, end it off then, Johnny.
Yeah, it's a long video, right?
Okay.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Let me know in the comments, guys, if what you think the scenario is and who you think's gonna make it and who's gonna lose. There you go, guys. There you go.